It's James World, party time, excellent. Hey guys, it's James from Enemies of the Fire here to talk about the major news. Oh no, it's not that Ezra got a job. It's that, oh, and who did he get a job with? St. Vincent and Grenadines. It's actually that the USA soccer team, the U.S. men's national soccer team is going to sign Mauricio Pochettino, one of the greatest coaches out there available, and we're here to talk about it. We're going to break into it real quick here. Just got to break it down for a couple minutes for you, maybe a couple angles you haven't thought of yet, and let's go. So first off, this is the greatest signing in U.S. men's national team soccer history. Without a doubt, it is a coup among coups. England wanted him. Manchester United was rumored to want him too. And out of all those teams that wanted him, prestigious names, he is signing with USA. It's reported to be happening from many reputable sources, and including his own son, who plays soccer out in Spanish, one of the Spanish lower leagues. But anyway, long story short, Mauricio Pochettino, how did we get here? Well, Mauricio Pochettino came a long way through a couple clubs. Espanyol. Let's go to Mauricio Pochettino's. It's not Poch, it's Ponch. Pochettino came in through Espanyol, moved on over to, as you can see here, Espanyol had a season or so at Southampton, did really successful with getting the most out of the talent and the youth talent there at both of those clubs. Moved on to Tottenham, and take a look at the England national team, and you'll see a lot of the imprints and the fingerprints of Mauricio Pochettino. He brought along a lot of those players who now play for the England national team while he was at his over 6 years at Tottenham. Almost 6 years at Tottenham. He moved on after that to Paris Saint-Germain for a new project with superstars, mega superstars, Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi under his tutelage. But some pundits thought it was a little too much and that the match wasn't right. The club and the coach weren't the right fit for each other when Messi joined. Possibly that was because it was too many superstars for a great coach, a great manager, but a great cultivator of youth talent, like Mauricio Pochettino was at the time. And then so he moved on to Chelsea, and the thought was, it's the youth talent that he's going to be so successful with. But once again, kind of what happened at Paris Saint-Germain, but also happened here, and I didn't mention, a little bit of umbrage between them and the board of directors. They didn't exactly see eye to eye when it came to transfers, when it came to the philosophy of the team and all sorts of stuff. And of course, all these big clubs want to play beautiful, luxurious attacking soccer, right? And also perfect pinpoint defending in addition, which is of course what every soccer coach wants to play. But other coaches, deal with what they have, or not only deal with what they have, but cultivate and improve what they have with what there is at their disposal. And that was the type of coach that Pochettino is. I've heard him described as a second tier coach amongst the great coaches. So like the first tier coaches, you got the Pep Guardiolas, the Klopps, right? And Jose Mourinho's maybe at one time, and I still think so. And then you have the second tier coaches, the Pochettinos, the Tuchels, so to speak, and those types of names. And so here's Pochettino coming to coach USA as honestly the greatest coach that has ever come to coach a U.S. men's soccer team. It's crazy that U.S. Fed has nabbed the last two Chelsea managers, not to mention, of course, referring to the English coach, Emma Hayes, who just won the gold medal with the women's national soccer, with the American women's national soccer team. So possibly had felt similar pangs of just wrestling for control with the Chelsea board. I wonder, it's a little theoretical here, but it seems to me that Mauricio Pochettino is the type of guy who thrives when he has control of what he's cooking. When the club and the club masters and the board don't meddle, and they let him meddle in his own stuff, and that's where Mauricio Pochettino thrives. He's the type of guy that apparently also believes in energia universal, so it's universal energy. And apparently that's the quote, the idea that people, places, and things are charged with a hidden energy, either positive or negative. This is his own quote. I believe in energia universal, he said one time. It is connected. Nothing happens for causality. It is it is always a consequence of something else. Maybe it is one of those reasons that Harry Kane always scores in derbies. I believe in that energy. For me, it exists. That's apparently Pochettino believing in some, kind of like the force, if you will. It seems like, but a force that's at play in the and soccer, in on sports and in life. It's very interesting. The energy, universal energy. So when I looked into his past career, as I mentioned before, he seemed to be a better developer of talent. He seemed to be a really good developer of talent. You look at Espanyol, the work he did there at Southampton, coming close to winning a Champions League against Liverpool with Tottenham. And it's just that then some couple of hiccups happen here. You see a long tutelage at Tottenham, long success, and then he moves to short stints at Paris Saint-Germain, short stints at Chelsea. And you wonder what went wrong, what went into that, what led to those failures. And yeah, to me, it seems like the board was meddling and he had disagreements, and the respect was so great between the two clubs that at least between Chelsea and Pochettino, that there was a mutual separation, and apparently it was pretty amicable. They weren't looking at other coaches until he agreed. And it just seemed like they didn't see eye to eye. So it was like, what's the next project for Pochettino? Is it going to be a club like Manchester United, or is he going to go looking at England, a job like England? And here, it all of a sudden comes USA out of the woodwork, fires Greg Berhalter, and offers Pochettino apparently the job. They apparently might have offered Mauricio Materazzo the job as well, and he might have turned it down. Might have led to this coming to head a little bit more here with Pochettino, and then pursuing him a little bit harder. But maybe that's all just smoke and mirrors, because maybe Pochettino was always Matt Crocker's guy. Apparently, they had connections going back to Southampton, but Pochettino getting folded in, and the reasons behind it, I wonder if it has to do with the types of methods of control that the bigger clubs want to do right now, like the Paris Saint-Germains, the Chelseas, the Man Uniteds, where they want more control over the club and less control for the coach. That's why Jose Mourinho finds himself without a job in some of these bigger clubs, where he'd no doubt be making success out of whatever little stuff they would give him. Because that's what type of coach, tier one coach that Jose is. But so anyway, back to Pochettino. I'm looking into it, and that's what it seems like. It seems like these meddling boards just weren't giving him the platitude, and the ability, the space, if you will, to make the moves that he wanted to, and then they're forcing him to make other moves, right? So instead, they leaves, and now he's bringing that staff to the U.S. men's national soccer team, where he's maybe used to the day-to-day of a club where it's going to be a little bit different. He's only going to have the boys with him for X amount of days, X amount of weeks. When they have these little international sides, you won't have them as much as a normal club coach would. He's going to have to find a way to figure that out, but I think he will. He sounds like that type of coach that he sounds like the type of coach that you're going to look to more like a father figure, where Greg Berhalter was the type of coach where you looked at like a brother. Like, he coached that men's national team like a brother too. I mean, they had all his favorites, some that weren't even maybe even quote unquote deserving of a national team spot for Greg, but he still would pull him in because he had his favorites. He had his little bros, and he's his big bro taking care of his little bros, right? Whereas in comes Pochettino, where immediately I think the U.S. Fed has to defer to him. He is the Bill Belichick walking into the room of no-name GMs. And the no-name GMs, guess what? Bill Belichick's walked the walk way longer and way farther and way harder and way better than any of you. So let's see what he's doing and maybe catch a bit of that success. Maybe learn a thing or two. Maybe pay attention to and observe what brings upon that success. And that's what the U.S. Fed has to do with Pochettino. They have to defer to him. They have to get their hands out of the pie mix and get out of the kitchen and just let Pochettino cook. Let Pochettino cook something up, sit at the kitchen table, wait, and boom, he sets down a nice little platter, and bam, we got something nice here. I heard English pundits talking about this, and like, well, they're not going to go win the World Cup now, are they? And I was like, okay, you guys just don't fucking get it. Of course we're not going to. It's not about going to World Cup. It's about sending a message. It's about improving the state of soccer, changing the soccer culture in America, improving it. It's going to change from the top down, because that's what it always does in U.S. soccer. It always comes from top down. And with Pochettino coming in, the youth are going to be feeling so much of the benefits of the Pochettino hire in a year's time, and maybe even starting in the next 6 months. But change is a coming for U.S. soccer and the style that Pochettino wants to play, and they got to get behind it. And the question is, well, Pochettino's only here for 2 years. Should we even really change the direction? Oh, there's going to be reticence. There's going to be reluctance. But no, if you want to be a soccer playing nation, we got to follow. We got to pay attention to see what works. This guy comes from a World Cup winning nation. He's been to the Champions League. Yeah, maybe he didn't win it, but this guy is a winner. He's a winner wherever he goes. He won at Paris Saint-Germain, and despite winning the double, they still fired him just because he couldn't pull away with the Champions League. Chelsea, a couple other factors went into that one. But it's curious to note that I hope that the U.S., and this is my message to the Fed, to the U.S. Soccer Federation, don't meddle. Get your hand out of the cookie jar and out of the pie mix. The cookie jar, keep your hand out of the cookie jar. If you need to get the cookies, and let Pochettino bake you those cookies. Let him bake them for you. Get out of the kitchen, sit your ass down at the kitchen table or on the couch, and enjoy this experience. Even if it's only for the next 2 years until this World Cup, and after the World Cup, he absconds over to Manchester United. But at least we had him, and he brought something special to us. I think that's what we're going to get here with Mauricio Pochettino. And maybe there's not going to be a huge amount of silverware that comes with his tenure as an American coach. But I don't think that is the goal. The goal is the moving forward of American soccer. It happened in German soccer. There's an awesome book called Building the Pyramid by Jonathan Tannenwald, I think. And it talks about how this English coach, and you could talk about it in the comments and correct me who it was, but it was an English coach, maybe Jimmy Hogan, played for maybe Blackburn Rovers, and it was a good coach, and he comes in to give a speech at the German Soccer Federation. And the German Soccer Federation at this time has been struggling. They're not the Austrian Federation. They're not the other federation. They've been struggling compared to some of these other soccer nations, and they don't know why. This English guy comes in and is talking to them in English, and half of them don't speak English, so they're just like, they're looking at each other like, well, we don't know what this guy's even fucking saying. So the guy storms out, comes back in his Wolverhampton or his Blackburn, something like that, jersey, in his Blackburn jersey, and he's got a soccer ball. And I don't think he has shoes on in the story. I think he took his feet off. And he says the problem with German, with German soccer is that you're stuck on just kicking it with your 1 foot. He boots it into this wall with 1 foot and knocks a little crack in the wall. The ball bounces off, and instead of kicking it with the right foot again, he kicks it with. And he says the thing you gotta do is you gotta think bigger and go with and use both feet. And he proceeds to blast the ball through the wall with his left foot, not his right foot. And the entire coaches, even though they didn't speak the language, they all understood what he meant. And it led to a renaissance in German soccer. And that's what I'm hoping that Mauricio Pochettino can do for U.S. soccer. Can come in here, blow a hole in the wall, get the coaches of U.S. soccer, of all throughout the U.S. soccer national landscape, to wake up and say, all right, let's get our kids playing a better style of football, a better class of football. Let's get them able to be able to win a World Cup. Because right now, in realistic terms, we're not able to win a World Cup, even with hiring one of the greatest. Even if we hired the greatest manager out there, we're not winning a World Cup. But we're hiring one of the best managers out there for the job, arguably a top 10 manager, maybe top 20. Some say the tier 2 managers, as I mentioned, but if there's a tier, and that tier 2 is very, 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 very good, because MLS coaches are not in that tier 2, or in the tier 3, or in the tier 4, or anywhere near those. They're leagues away. So it's so good that we're not getting Churundolo. It's so good that we're not ending up with some of these names that are just, maybe frankly, not as special as Pochettino and the project and the aura that Pochettino can bring to the U.S. Soccer Federation and then the U.S. men's soccer national team. And I'm very excited for that. I hope you guys are too. There's definitely upsides, there's downsides, there's reasons, you know, things didn't work out at past clubs. There's even mutterings of, oh, will he leave this job before the World Cup to go to Manchester United if the opportunity comes up? And I say, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. This guy's here for the project. This guy's here for the challenge. That's what this type of guy is. That's what Mauricio Pochettino is speaking for. He was looking for a club like Tottenham. He still wears his Tottenham clothes. When he's out and about in his house, he doesn't wear Chelsea stuff. He doesn't wear Paris Saint-Germain stuff. He still wears Tottenham stuff. Why? It's close to his heart. And I really hope that U.S. Soccer Federation does and gives him the keys, gives him the full run of the kitchen, gives him all the ingredients and all the equipment, the best kind that he needs, whatever he asks for, like he's Gordon fucking Ramsay, right? Give him what he needs to cook and get out of the way. That's what I hope happens. I'm excited. Let me know how excited you guys are in the comments. Just a little short aside here. We're going to be coming out with another podcast very, very soon. James from Enemies of Fire saying, make sure you guys look that like button in the eye and punt it. Does a lot to help spread the word of soccer on YouTube menus nationwide. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much. See you guys later. USA! USA! USA!